The armed forces of the Philippines has a history shaped by revolution, global war, and the enduring struggle for national identity. From the earliest uprisings against colonial rule to the fierce battles of World War II, the AFP's story is one of sacrifice and adaptation. For decades, the military has been engaged in internal conflict, fighting insurgencies and separatist movements across the archipelago's challenging terrain. This legacy forged a force known for resilience and battlefield experience, but its true capabilities are often questioned on the global stage, especially when compared to its more heavily armed neighbors. Is the AFP a regional powerhouse or a paper tiger? The answer is complex, shaped by history, resources, and shifting threats. The reality lies somewhere in between, with strengths and vulnerabilities that reflect the nation's unique challenges. The spirit and experience of its soldiers are undeniable, honed by continuous counterinsurgency operations and a deep sense of duty to protect their communities. However, this focus on internal security left the air and naval domains under-resourced, with outdated equipment and limited reach. Rising tensions in the South China Sea have exposed the limitations of the country's external defense, highlighting the need for modernization. Incidents with Chinese vessels highlight the urgent need for a modern Navy and Air Force capable of defending the nation's sovereignty and maritime interests. The government has launched a modernization program, but progress is slow due to economic constraints and competing national priorities. The AFP is transitioning from internal security to credible external defense, a long, expensive journey that will require sustained commitment. We'll explore its historical roots, current structure, and the evolution of its mission in a rapidly changing region. We'll also compare its strengths and weaknesses to regional neighbors, examining how it measures up in today's strategic environment. Key strengths include experienced personnel, a tradition of valor, and adaptability in the face of adversity. The country also boasts a growing domestic shipbuilding industry which could play a vital role in future self-reliance. Major hurdles remain: budget limitations, reliance on foreign suppliers, and persistent internal threats that continue to demand attention and resources. By the end, we'll see a military in transition, striving to become the guardian its nation needs and facing the future with determination and hope. The story of the Philippine military is one of near-constant struggle and resilience, beginning with the revolution against Spanish colonial rule in the late 19th century. From the outset, Filipinos have fought for their right to self-determination, often against overwhelming odds. Filipino forces, though poorly equipped and outgunned, showed immense bravery and determination in their quest for sovereignty and freedom. Their courage became a symbol of hope for generations to come. This indomitable spirit continued through the Philippine-American War and into World War II, where Filipino soldiers fought valiantly alongside and under U.S. command, enduring hardship and sacrifice in battles like Bataan and Corregidor. Independence brought new challenges, internal conflicts with communist and secessionist insurgencies that have defined the armed forces of the Philippines' focus for decades, shaping the nation's security landscape. The military's long experience in internal conflict has shaped its doctrine, tactics, and operations, making it adept at counterinsurgency and jungle warfare. Beyond its borders, the Philippines contributed troops to the Korean and Vietnam Wars and now regularly joins United Nations peacekeeping missions, building international partnerships and gaining valuable experience. These overseas deployments have enhanced the AFP's international reputation, broadened its operational experience, and fostered cooperation with allies around the world. Today, peace agreements have reduced some internal threats, but extremist groups in the New People's Army continue to challenge stability, requiring constant vigilance and adaptation. Meanwhile, external threats in the West Philippine Sea and disputes over maritime territory demand a significant shift in focus and resources for the AFP. The AFP must now adapt its doctrine, training, and procurement strategies to meet these new and evolving challenges, investing in modernization and advanced technology. Its long history of resilience and sacrifice is an asset, but the future of the AFP depends on its ability to adapt and transition toward external defense and regional security. The crossroads is clear: evolve and modernize, or risk being left behind in a rapidly changing world. The AFP operates under civilian control, with the President as Commander-in-Chief. The Secretary of National Defense oversees policy and budget, ensuring democratic oversight. The Chief of Staff, a four-star general or admiral, leads the military and advises top officials. The Army, Navy, and Air Force each have distinct chains of command but operate under unified leadership. Funding is set annually by Congress. In 2024, the defense budget was about $4.8 billion. This is modest compared to regional peers, forcing tough choices between current needs and future investments. The revised AFP Modernization program guides procurement in phases, now focusing on external defense. Success depends on consistent funding, which is often threatened by political and economic pressures. The challenge: modernize while maintaining operational readiness. The Armed Forces of the Philippines, or AFP, fields about 150,000 active personnel, with a large reserve force for added depth and flexibility. This manpower forms the backbone of the country's defense, ready to respond to both external threats and internal challenges. The Army is the largest branch, responsible for ground operations, followed by the Navy and Air Force, each with specialized roles in maritime and aerial defense. Equipment is a mix of aging hardware and new acquisitions, reflecting ongoing modernization efforts and budget constraints. The Army relies on upgraded armored personnel carriers and newly acquired light tanks to enhance mobility and firepower on the battlefield. The Air Force's main combat aircraft are FA-50PHs, supported by light attack and transport planes, which provide both offensive and logistical capabilities. Air defense remains a weakness, with limited missile systems and gaps in radar coverage, making the country vulnerable to modern aerial threats. The Navy's most capable ships are two modern frigates, supported by a fleet of older patrol vessels and corvettes that help secure the nation's vast maritime borders. The Marine Corps is being trained and equipped for archipelagic defense, focusing on amphibious operations and rapid deployment across the country's many islands. The Navy aims to acquire more frigates, corvettes, and even submarines in the coming years as part of a long-term modernization plan. Global rankings place the AFP in the top 35 militaries worldwide, but numbers alone don't tell the whole story of capability and readiness. The real test is whether the AFP can project credible power and maintain a strong presence in a contested region like the South China Sea, where tensions continue to rise. The Philippine defense budget is modest compared to neighbors like Singapore, Indonesia, and Vietnam. This translates into a capability gap, especially in air and maritime power. Neighbors operate advanced fighters and submarines, while the AFP's assets are less sophisticated. However, the AFP's experience in counterinsurgency and jungle warfare is unmatched in the region. Its large manpower pool provides strategic depth. The Philippines' mutual defense treaty with the U.S. is a key advantage, offering training, intelligence, and military assistance. This alliance acts as a force multiplier, partially offsetting material disadvantages. Strategic partnerships shape the region's security calculus. The AFP's strengths lie in experience and alliances, not just hardware. In Southeast Asia, numbers and technology matter, but so do people and partnerships. The AFP's greatest strength is its people, resilient, resourceful, and battle-tested. Decades of counterinsurgency have created adaptable, skilled soldiers. The large reserve force adds strategic depth for defending a vast archipelago. Efforts are underway to better train and equip these reserves. International peacekeeping missions have broadened the AFP's experience and reputation. Filipino troops are respected for professionalism and adaptability in diverse environments. The country's shipbuilding industry, though focused on commercial vessels, is beginning to support military needs. Local shipyards now build patrol craft and support vessels for the Navy and Coast Guard. Expanding this sector could reduce reliance on foreign suppliers and boost self-reliance. The AFP's potential lies in its people and emerging domestic industry. Budget constraints are the AFP's most critical challenge, with defense spending below regional norms. Underfunding delays modernization and affects readiness across the board. Heavy reliance on imported equipment makes the AFP vulnerable to supply disruptions and political shifts. The lack of a strong domestic defense industry means lost opportunities for jobs and self-sufficiency. Internal threats persist, from communist insurgents to extremist groups in the South. The The AFP must balance modernization with ongoing internal security operations, stretching resources thin. Corruption scandals have eroded public trust and diverted resources. Recent reforms aim to improve transparency, but the legacy of past abuses lingers. Overcoming internal challenges is as vital as facing external threats. The Philippines is racing to modernize its military under a multi-phased program. Horizon 1 focused on internal security. Horizon 2 began the shift to external defense. Horizon 3, now underway, aims to acquire fighters, frigates, submarines, and advanced missile systems. The cost is high, and securing consistent funding is a constant struggle. Procurement is slow and complex, often taking years from selection to delivery. Meanwhile, threats in the West Philippine Sea are growing more urgent. Success requires more than new hardware. It demands new doctrine, training, and joint operations. The AFP must develop the expertise to operate and sustain modern systems. Logistics and support infrastructure are critical for a modern force. The true value of modernization lies in transforming the institution, not just its equipment. The AFP is neither a regional powerhouse nor a paper tiger. It's a force in transition. Its greatest asset is its experienced, resilient personnel. International peacekeeping and the U.S. alliance enhance its capabilities. But decades of underinvestment have left critical gaps, especially in air and maritime defense. Modernization is essential but hampered by budget constraints and reliance on foreign suppliers. The AFP must balance external threats with ongoing internal security demands. The path forward requires sustained funding, a domestic defense industry, and investment in people. The military is stronger than a decade ago, but not yet ready for tomorrow's challenges. Its future depends on national resolve and political will. The journey to credible external defense can no longer be postponed.